Evaluations are those masters. They help us to get better. What is going to happen is we have a test speaker who will give a speech for 5 to 7 minutes. After the speech is over, I'm going to put all the 6 contestants in the breakout room. And you will have 5 minutes to write down your notes. After we call in the first contestant, which is Pradeep, to come out, I would encourage you not to touch your notes. You can have your notes in front of you, but don't touch them. I'm going to message you or broadcast a message asking you to come out of the breakout room. When you come out, there will be a 1 minute of silence going on. Once the timer tells me that 1 minute is done, then I'll ask you, contestant number 2, can you hear me? And then once I know you can hear me, I will repeat your name twice so that you can give your evaluation. Any questions regarding that?
Could you go through the speaking order very quickly?
Yes, I'm going to go through the speaking order. Okay. Speaker number 1 is Pradeep. Speaker number 2 is Jaimal. Speaker number 3 is Shreya. Speaker number 4 is Kevin. Speaker number 5 is Natalie. And speaker number 6 is Vaishnavi. Are all the contestants ready? Thank you so much. Our test speaker is Emmy Bartholomew. And her speech title, Tough Talk, Emmy Bartholomew.
No more hospitals. Dwight, honey, what are you talking about? You just came back for the 3rd time in as many months. How am I supposed to deal with that? No more hospitals, please. Okay, honey, I suppose we can make that work somehow. How? I don't know what to do. All I know how to do is to call emergency 911. Help! Does that mean if he had a heart attack and died, I would be responsible? Friends, do you know what your loved one wants at the end of life? Do you know how to make that happen? I didn't. Come on along with me now as Dwight and I make the journey to discover how to make that happen. Come on, the home health nurse is here. Dwight, you're looking pretty comfortable. How are you doing? No more hospitals. That's his new mantra. Sounds to me like you two need to have a tough talk. A talk about dying. You might be helped if you started out with this book. Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. Sounds fascinating. Dwight and I read the book. And I discovered why he never wanted to go back to the hospital again. Our medical profession has failed miserably where compassionate end-of-life care is concerned. It's not surprising. We teach our doctors to keep us alive no matter what, even if it's not what we want. And no matter if it will even work. And no matter what the cost. We also learned about alternatives to hospital care. But we still weren't ready to make a decision. We hadn't had that tough talk yet. Then my son gave us this deck of cards, Go Wish, from the CODA Alliance. These cards are specifically designed to help people have that tough talk. Here's a sample of one of the cards. To be able to talk about what scares me. The directions that come with the deck say that you should each choose your top 10 cards and then talk about it. We'd been together for so long and we knew each other so well that we thought it might be fun if he chose his top 10 and then I chose his top 10. And we'd see how close I got to what he chose. Here was my first card for him. To be at peace with God. My next one was to have human touch. And then to die at home. His top 10 cards started with to die at home. To be free from pain. Not be connected to machines. Out of the top 10, I only got that one right. I didn't know him as well as I thought, but I was puzzled. Dwight, I don't get it. You're such a spiritual person. I thought to be at peace with God would at least be in your top 10. Sweetheart, I'm already at peace with God. I don't need that card. I was blown away that he would share that with me. And then I realized later that if we had not gotten this deck of cards, he probably never would have shared that with me. I felt honored and blessed. The last thing we did was go online and research end-of-life care and came to the decision that hospice would be right for us. It would allow him to die at home, to be free of pain, to not be connected to machines, and to have his friends and family around him, as much as COVID would allow. And for me, joy, I had somebody to call. I put hospice on speed dial. Now, we realize that hospice isn't for everyone. We have a friend who's 93, and he wants those doctors to keep him alive as long as they possibly can. That's his choice. What is it that I would like for you, friends? I'd like you to start the journey. Get the book, read it, Being Mortal. Order the cards, Go Wish. They're the bomb. And research what's available in your area for end-of-life care. But above all, carve out the time in your busy schedule to have that talk with your loved one while they could still talk back. Dwight's new mantra, happy at home. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much.
Could I just remind you, Abhijit?
Yes.
I couldn't see the timer at all.
No worries. I will make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I meant for the contestants.
Yes. No, I'm going to spotlight the timer.
Okay.
All the contestants, can you please join the breakout room? Perfect. Narvin, can you load all those timer signs I sent you?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm ready to
perfect.
time the contestants.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Let me unspotlight. Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much for being our test speaker. Amy, how long you have been a Toastmaster for?
4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 years before COVID.
How has it changed, the 2 years before and the 2 years in COVID? Do you see a big difference or?
Oh, tremendous. Yes, a huge difference. Number one is you have to interact with the camera so differently than you would on stage. I would not be able to put these little cards up there for everyone to see
Yes.
in person. I would have to find some other way to do it. So in that respect, it worked really well.
Yes.
Then we can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to pay to go somewhere and compete. It's right here. I love that part. I do miss the we still have the camaraderie.
Yes.
My home club is Squim and we have such fun together, but it's definitely different than
Yes.
being in person. So I miss that part.
Yes. No, I truly agree with that. There are so many differences.
Yeah.
And in last
Plus
year's,
for me, okay,
go
ahead.
Plus for you?
Well, this year, I want to say that because my husband, I am his caretaker, I can't go anywhere. So this has been perfect for me. So I just had to say that.
Yeah. Same thing. I can belong to many clubs just because it's Zoom. Otherwise, it's tough.
Yeah.
In last year, you actually progressed into your contest journey. How was the journey for you?
Oh, fascinating. I have to say that I did not expect it to be the way it was.
Yes.
I had never done a contest speech, and I didn't understand how it would evolve and how much learning about myself that would entail. I learned so much from doing that speech that I made it as far as district. I did not win at district, but I felt like I won because I had such amazing time and I learned so much that I wanted to go back and share that with everyone. So, yeah.
How many times did you change your speech, or how many times you edited it? Can you just share for the audience, like how many times you practiced, how many times you edited it?
I edited it and I think until the very last day.
Okay.
So, it's 4 months between when you start and when you make it to district, or maybe 3 months. But anyway, it's a while. And so I made changes probably every week or two. I would make maybe just one change and then somebody else would say something else. And one of the things that I really benefited from was someone saying I needed more humor in it.
Yes.
And then they helped me put more humor in it because I wasn't doing well with it. And that's one of the things I have to keep asking people, how do I add humor to this? It's such a heavy topic, So you have to keep working with it. And above all, the important part is to listen to what your feedback is and go, okay, your first response might be, oh, they're full of crap. I'm not gonna do that. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute, that might work really well. And you try it out and you may not do it exactly like that, but you use part of it. But the biggest mistake I think you can make is to believe that you're done. If you're ever really done.
It's like I have the best speech ever.
Yeah.
So
it does feel like I've made so many changes to this one already. It doesn't feel like the same speech, But and the hardest part was honing it down to fit into 7 minutes.
Yes.
So.
what would you advise for some of us who don't work on our speeches? We just give one speech, then we move on to the next speech, then we move on to the next speech. What advice would you have for us?
Well, that was me before, before I went to contest. I never gave the same speech twice. And I think it's very valuable to listen to the feedback and then give the speech again. And if you can give it from a different span, you know, the story may work from a different standpoint. So if, say, one of your requirements on your pathway requires one thing, you use the speech for that, and then you look at the next one and go, how could I modify this to use it for this pathway, because, or this project? And you'll find that you can look at them from different points of view and use the same story. And I think it really deepens your understanding of yourself. I think it's a wonderful tool. So highly recommend
Yes.
reusing your speeches.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you for being our test speaker today.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Let me call upon our first evaluator.
Okay.
Marvin, can you put on the black timer sign? Timer sign?
I don't have that, but I'll create
I'll
one.
just put it in the chat for you, actually.
Okay, great.
Yes. See here. They're all there. Contestant number 1, Pradeep. Pradeep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Timer, are you ready? Contestant number 1, Pradeep. Pradeep.
Me, your speech was amazing. Not just in tough talk, I felt it more than tough talk. It was emotional, realistic, informative, and impactful. I loved everything about your speech. The top things that stood out for me is your role play. The role play with Dwight and you, the role play with the nurse and you, and moreover, how you transition from the role play initially for the introduction and when to introduce Toastmasters and when back the role play. Come on, come on. That was amazing. That was so impactful. It kept me engaging all the time. I was looking forward to more of the speech. The role play was great, me. The next thing I liked were your props. You didn't have a lot of props, just two, and you showed over and over again the book and the cards. The best prop what I liked was the cards. Your message of it, how you had top 10 for you, top 10 for Dwight, and you showed the first three for you and first three for Dwight, and there was a message. There was something common in between you. You knew Dwight for a long time, but there were few things you did not know about Dwight. That is something which kept me engaged, and I loved about your props, the way you gave a message to me about your story. I love the props. I love the cards. Tough talk is always hard, but it becomes easier, I feel, with humor, and you had a lot of it. Initially from the introduction and how you explain and how you can even talk, the tough talk with some humor. Humor makes me excited and it made me engage and it made your speech outstanding. There are few things, it's just, I think one thing I feel can be made better to make your speech impactful. For a person like me, I don't know what Hopcos is. I mean, well, why would it be relevant to you, not for others? Maybe I had something, instead of giving an introduction about Hopcos, which might kind of go away with your story. I feel it would have been more impactful to add a story for why it is useful for you and why not for others. Some kind of message. Oh, it kept me all over the place for a while. Okay, what was happening? What is happening? I didn't get the message at the end, but I was lost for a few seconds. Something to make it more better, I feel would be impactful. And the best thing I liked about your speech, is your energy and your pace of speech. I loved it. I love the energy with what you got to the stage, and I enjoyed your speech. In summation, I loved your role play, the best, the props, the best, humor, the best. All were great. The only thing I feel could have been better was explaining Hopcos, what it is, so it can not think about, for me to think about something else to keep me more engaged. I loved your speech, and best way to give a tough talk with humor. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Judges, please mark your ballots. Timer, please give me a minute.
Minutes up.
Thank you, Narvin. Contestant number 2, Jamal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Contestant number 2, Jamal. Jamal.
And to share friends, and especially you, Emmy. Emmy, your story reminds me of the recent movie that I watched. It's City of Angels, where Meg Ryan, towards the end of her last few breaths, she just wanted to stay with Nicolas Cage. She didn't want Nicolas Cage to go run, call 911, but she just wanted him to stay and spend the last few minutes with the loved ones. So thank you so much for sharing the story. There are a couple of things that I liked about your speech, and then I'm also going to share some things that you can make improvements on. And I'll top it off with what I liked best. So Emmy, 3 things that I liked about your speech is you opened your heart to what compassionate end of life is, and you connected with me, and that is amazing. And the second thing I liked was the structure in which, where you started off with, no, Dwight doesn't want to be in the hospital. Now, what do you do next? Home, when you go home, but what is the preparation involved? So reading a book, and then your son comes and helps you with a Go Wish card, and you're having fun with it. And it looks like everything was aligning in such a way that, you know, he wanted to spend his few days, the hours, the last months or so at home itself, and it was well structured. And the third thing I liked was the humor portion, especially when you said 10 things that he liked, and I'm going to guess 10 things that I think he might like, you know, top 10 things. And was just, there was some humor, and I really liked, and I know it was during difficult time, you brought in the humor, and that just showed that you healed yourself when sharing the story. Things that you could work on is to make the speech go to the next level is when you mentioned about top 10 that you came up with, maybe you could have shown on this side. So I know you're reading from the top 10 on this side. and then switched over here and said the top 10 coming from this side. So we know which top 10 you're talking to us about.
Yeah.
Then I would like an emotional range of feelings. If you could bring in, like, not only you were at peace when you were talking to us, but I know during that time there was some sadness. There was some confusion. If you could bring in some of those feelings in between, that would help me to connect with you at what tense that situation was. And the third thing is, we want to know what happened to Dwight. Like, was it the best decision that you made? I would love to know that. And the best part is the message that you shared with us, happy at home. So that is such a beautiful message. To summarize, I would say is, I would like to know what happened to Dwight at the end, then emotional range of feelings. Then when it comes to sharing the top 10, it would be nice to show both the sides. And what I liked best was you opened your heart and connected with us. And I loved what compassionate end of life is. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Judges, please mark your ballots. Timer, please give me a minute. Thank you, timer.
Minutes up.
Contestant number 3, Shreya. Shreya, can you hear me? Are you ready?
Am
Are
I
you
first?
ready? Are you
Uh,
ready?
no, I'm still finishing up the notes.
It's. I'll ask you to. We'll call upon you to give the evaluation now. Is that okay?
Oh, I need a few more minutes, if that's okay.
Oh, no, you don't have those minutes.
I thought I was number 3, no?
Yes, but first 2 evaluations are already done.
Oh, they're already done. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that. Okay.
Contestant number 3, Shreya. Are you ready?
Yes.
Shreya? Shreya, it's all you.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Thank you for the speech, Bartholomew. It was really nice. I thought it was a very sensitive topic that you touched upon very beautifully, and I especially admired the way that you presented the subject with a smile and with utmost grace and voice. Things that were effective for me, it was that you had great hand gestures and you had great pauses throughout the speech, and I really loved your energy, and also the way I said it was very presented very gracefully. You used the stage and camera really well, and I really liked it when you zoomed in, zoomed out, and you also had that little narrative going on. That was really nice, and it had my attention throughout. And a very, very essential, great call to action. The reminder to have the difficult conversations while we are able to and while we can, that really touched me. It was really, really great. So thank you for bringing that up. Things that I felt could have been better was that I felt that you could have gone into a little bit more detail as to the kind of care that you were looking for. Because I think I lost that, I couldn't get that through. And what did not also go well at the hospitals, because you mentioned lack of empathy and compassion. So I did not quite get the connect as to what was missing and why you wanted to, why you chose the care that you chose. So that heart to heart connection for me was missing a little bit. And I also felt that the transitions from one stage to the next could have been a little bit more smoother. I felt that it was a little bit rushed with a lot of ground to cover. And I felt that it lacked some depth in some of the areas, because I would have loved to know a little bit more about, how, why this topic is important to you and how this affected you throughout, because you were the primary caregiver, and how it changed you. So I would have liked to know a little bit more depth as well. So to summarize, thank you so much for presenting a very sensitive topic with utmost grace. I could connect with you throughout, because yeah, I have we're this is a stage where we're having these kind of conversations. Um, and the speech had great pauses throughout. I loved your hand gestures, and I loved how you presented with narrative in the beginning. And what could have been better is a little bit more depth and a little bit more detail as to why this topic was important to you, and how it also affected you as a person. And yeah, that is the summary. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Judges, please mark your ballots. Timer, please give me a minute. Thank you, timer. Contestant number 4, Kevin. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you
Are
hear
you?
me?
Yes. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Contestant number 4, Kevin. Kevin Zhao.
Thank you so much. And Emmy, I really like your speech. And then there are following points I really like about your speech. Overall, it is a very good delivery. First, I like your energy. I like you use change of your voice. You use body languages. You use your eye contact looking into the camera. Those are all very positive things to engage with the audience. The second is I like you have pace, you have pause in your speech. It gives the audience the time to think and digest what you were delivering. The third is I really like how you incorporate the storytelling into delivering your message. The fourth one is I also really like you incorporate some tools like the book, like the deck into your conversation. It is a very good visual tools which gives people something which they can pick up very quickly. And besides that, I think there are some minor points I'd like to share with you. I think if you can also work on those, it can dramatically improve the delivering of your message. So those points are mostly around the structure of the speech. From my understanding, the structure of the speech can be divided into problem statement, solution, and then your conclusion. So when I'm hearing your speech, I really wish I can have the first one. When you deliver the first story, you can give a break and then summarize what is the problem statement to the audience. In a better way, you can even engage the audience and ask them, have you ever been in this situation? Do you picture yourself in that situation? And what may be your option to get customers on page and understand what the problem you're trying to solve? So the second point I want to make is that in the conclusion, when you summarize, you did a very good job of summarizing. But if it can be more emphasized, like summary, we start with this problem and we come to this conclusion. And overall, to summarize my evaluation, it is very good delivery. And if you can further improve the structure and engage with the customer, engage with the audience, it will be a perfect speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Judges, please mark your ballots. Timer, please give me a minute. Thank you, timer. Contestant number 5, Natalie, can you hear me?
Yes,
Are you ready?
yes.
Contestant number 5, Natalie Shanses.
Emmy, thank you so much for the wonderful speech you gave us today. I could personally relate to the content and storyline as I've been having similar conversations with my senior and ill mother. And so I appreciate bringing this to the table as it is challenging and difficult to broach this topic, but so very important. First, I'd like to go over a couple of things that I found very effective. And one of them was how you brought some humor into this very touchy topic for some. And I, for one, appreciate that and thought that you used your space and your gestures and like how you came into the corner with the one comment, if COVID allows. I think that was wonderful and really hooked me in a bit more, as I was already hooked from the role playing that you started off with. And that, of course, is one of those things that we can all kind of like relate to. And I was very excited about trying to figure out who was talking when and just how you set that scene I really appreciated. And at the same time, the role playing was a little confusing at the beginning. I was wondering who was who and what was what. And when I figured out there was Dwight and then yourself, that was clear and a positive. And then there was the nurse. And so I was like, okay, where was the nurse coming in? And it was a little challenging for me to figure out who was saying what or what message was coming from whom. And so that was something I feel like could be worked on a bit more to bring the speech over the edge, to be just a bit more effective. And at the same time, with that in mind, some more vocal variety when switching between the roles and then speaking to me. There was like, it took me a second to figure out, oh, you're speaking to me now. You're not speaking as Dwight. And so that was another thing that popped out to me that I think that could just, again, make this a little more effective. But the best thing of your speech, and my one takeaway, is how you presented resources and information for us to take away, or your call to action to encouraging us to have these conversations with our loved ones is so important. And so I took note of the cards, the conversation starters, and the book, and appreciate passing that information on. So overall, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Judges, please mark your ballots. Timer, please give me a minute. Thank you, timer. Contestant number 6, Vaishnavi, are you ready?
Yes.
Can you see the timer?
Yes.
Contestant number 6, Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi.
Dear fellow Toastmasters, judges, and especially you, the speaker of the day, Emmy Bartholomew. Your speech reminded me of my grandmother back in India, who also equally hates hospitals, the doctors, nurses, and especially the machines that monitor her 24/7. So for me, she was the Dwight in my story. Now, I would like to talk about a few things that I really loved about your speech, and maybe a few things that you could work on to take your speech to the next level. Starting off, you had an amazing role play going on where you enacted your character and as well as Dwight, and you also did Nurse, you, and the Dwight, and you used the stage really well to bring those characters to life. The other things that you used were the props. I feel props are the tangible way to bring story to life. And then you use props like the book, and then you also use the cards, not just once, but you also brought it back in the end to kind of emphasize the point. Tough talk was seen as a thread which was there throughout your story. It was the title of your story, and also you introduced that at multiple stages in your story, and also during the call to action, which emphasizes the whole point to have the actual difficult conversation. Now, a few things that you could work on to take your speech to the next level. I feel that you had the audience interaction kept to the minimal. If you had asked a question like, how many of you really had this deep, thoughtful conversation with your partner? When was the last time you had a very deep conversation with your partner? Can you think of that time? Asking such questions to the audience, I think, involves the audience more into the speech that you are giving. Now to the best part of your speech was the call to action. Given that in the time of pandemic where we are actually physically distant from each other, it is a very, very good time to connect with the people we love and by connect, I mean actually connect and have those tough, deep conversations with them and actually get to know them. So thank you for reminding that. And overall, I really loved your speech, given that you had amazing props, you had really good role play going on, and the fact that the main title, which was Tough tough talk was interlaid at different locations in your speech. And if you can involve a little bit more of the audience awareness, where you ask questions to the audience and involve them as well, I think that will take your speech to the next level. With that, I would like to conclude my evaluation. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Judges, please mark your ballots. Timer, please give me 2 minutes. Carlos, can you join the breakout room?
One minute.
Thank you so much, Narvin. I would like to encourage all the contestants to turn on their cameras. Pradeep, how was your experience, Pradeep?
Oh man, this was one of the toughest evaluation I've ever done, because everything was perfect. Voice variety, body language, the impact in terms of getting repeated things again and over again. I was like, okay, now what do I evaluate, right? but yeah, I tried to evaluate on the story a little bit, and finally I got one thing that Hopcast. I was like, was it a hospital surveys? Okay, I'm going to catch up on that. But overall, it was amazing, right? I mean, it's unfair to give voice variety to a very already professional speaker. So that's something to give back. Oh, it was tough.
Thank you, Pradeep. I really enjoyed your evaluation. Jamal, how is it for you?
It was really good experience. Emmy, excellent story. I mean, you just shared wealth of information and I just enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had a good experience. Yes. Oh, yes. Like Pradeep said, it was tough to find faults. I was like, I didn't know it was more than I would just listen to you. I was like, wow, I didn't know the time was up. That's how well the delivery was. And I just enjoyed the story.
Thank you, Jamal. Thank you. Shreya, you stumped me there when I called upon you. Oh my God. How was the experience, Shreya?
Sorry, this is my first time in a contest and I wasn't sure of the format. So I was like, I'm supposed to be number three. Why am I going first? So sorry, I didn't quite realize that that's how it worked. Yeah, so no, it was really good. I really liked the experience. Yeah, this is my first time in a contest, like I said. So yeah, I really liked it. And yeah, it was a very difficult thing to evaluate. Well, given that I'm a newbie anyway, so yeah, but it was good. It was fun. Thank you.
I appreciate you participating in the contest, because the more you participate, the more you learn. Kevin, how was the experience for you, Kevin?
Yeah, overall, it was a very good experience. I learned both from the speaker as well as other evaluators, and I can see how I can use some of the very positive things I learned and incorporate it into my future speech and evaluation.
Perfect, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you. And I really appreciate you participating in the contest, because you are also very new Toastmaster. So thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Natalie, how was it for you?
It was good, especially given I had no idea I was going to do this today. And so I am so thankful that I took some good notes from the workshop last week that I could refer to in this moment. And it was a great speech to evaluate and practice with. So
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much for participating in the contest. Vaishnavi, how was it for you?
It was a great experience as well, Abhijit. I didn't know 3 minutes was so long, and I was the last person waiting. I was like, will I be called? And I kept waiting. So that was the thing. Apart from that, I really loved the experience because it's my first evaluation contest. So it's different from the rest. And always, I still feel that, that scare when I come on stage. So I felt it again, but it was good.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you for participating in the contest. Narvind, how was it to listen to all the evaluations for you?
It was fantastic. It was also difficult because I was trying to time it, but also trying to listen carefully to everyone. So I had to kind of be mindful of that. But everybody did a great job evaluating. I wish I participated in the contest, but I learned from everyone.
Your daughter is also very cute, Narvind. Emmy, how was it for you to listen to all the evaluations?
Oh, I loved it actually. And I was so impressed that everyone was able to, follow here's what you did well. Here's, what I think you could do better. And here's what I liked best. Everybody followed that really closely and did well with it, even though, they're just newbies at it. I was like, wow, that was great. And I got something from everyone. And one of the things I wanted to say is this whole topic is very hard to talk about because it's not like an international subject, hospice. I was not surprised when Pradip said he didn't know what that meant. And then the problem becomes, how do I find time to explain that in a 5 to 7 minute speech? I don't know. So yeah. I've had someone suggest that this really wasn't a very international subject that could really be used as an international speech. So we'll have to see how I do with that. So I appreciated everybody's comments. It was wonderful. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Emmy. Thank you. Narvind, I just wanted to ask you, were there any time disqualifications beyond 3 minutes, 30 seconds?
Well, the way I set it up was to the Toastmasters guideline, which was the green light was at 2 minutes.
Yes.
The yellow light was at 2:30,
Yes.
and the red light was at 3 minutes.
Yes.
Where with that, there were no disqualifications. Everybody was well within 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Thank you so much.
So I hope I didn't freak anyone out when it turned red.
No. Thank you. Let me call upon our chief judge to announce the results. Carlos Puig, it's all you, sir.
Sorry, I was not the chief judge. I was sorry, I was a voting judge, but I don't have access to the ballots.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
So I'm not sure who does.
I think it's Srini. He has the
Yeah, I think
final
Srini was the
results.
one who was guiding us in the breakout room. I was a voting judge.
Yes, no problem.
Srini, do you have the results?
You're muted, Srini.
Yeah, she has the results. They have been messaged to Abhijit, I assume.
Okay,
Yeah,
I will
you
look
will
at
check.
my message.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on.
yeah. Yeah, actually, for the third place is a tiebreaker.
Let me call upon Srini to announce the results. Srini, you can announce the results.
Yeah, no, I need a third place. There is a tiebreaker, Abhijit.
Abhijit, can you please put all the judges back in the breakout room?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, please.
Can you join?
There we go.
Perfect. I think we can continue our conversation.
May I ask
Sure.
if the timer timed my speech?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I thought that you had a free pass for your
No.
time. Sorry
Well,
about that.
I probably, maybe I do have a free pass, but I've been trying to cut it down. And so I would have liked to know whether I
Oh.
made it in time or not.
I would have listened to it for an hour if you kept talking. It was, time was irrelevant. It was a great topic.
All right, thank you.
I think we
Oh,
have
you know
access
what?
to the recording, so we can check how much time you took.
Oh, that's true.
Yes,
That's true.
yes.
Question, I don't know where your club is located.
In the Bay Area, San Francisco
The
Bay
Bay
Area in San
Area,
Jose.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter and son-in-law are in the Bay Area.
Which city, Amy?
They're in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, but he works down in. Well, gosh, can't remember the name of the city he goes to work. It isn't. It's. He works for NVIDIA.
Okay.
Wherever that is. It's down there somewhere. Santa Clara, maybe.
So
Yes.
Abhijit, you want to access the results? Or you
No,
want me to talk?
I'll call upon you to announce the results.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Nivas, it's all you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Nice session. So I'm happy to announce the results. So everyone did a great job. So I'll start with the number 3. So number 3, the winner is Mr. Pradeep. Congratulations to Pradeep. And yeah, and second place, Vaishnavi. Congratulations to Vaishnavi. Third place, I will take 1 second pause. Jaymal. I mean, first place is Jaymal. Thank you. Thank you, the winners, and thank you, the participants. Thank you for the opportunity. Abhijit.
Thank you so much, Srinivas. I want to thank you for all the judges and timers for making this contest possible. Thank you again. And Amy, thank you so much for coming from Washington State to our club to give your speech.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
It's impressive that we had 6 contestants. Most of the other clubs I know have trouble getting 1, if not 2. So this is absolutely impressive and a testimony to the energy of the club and the degree of skill, because everyone did well. Everyone did well. So it's an amazing participation rate.
Abhijit is good at twisting arms.
Actually, it's Vaishnavi. She's.
Oh, okay.
Learned it from Abhijit then.
Thank you so much, everyone. Now I'm going to adjourn this meeting, but we'll be open to any questions you have. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. If you have any questions, please do ask.
Go.
Yes, thank you, Abby.
Bye-bye.
Bye.